So we just had one of our guys shoot.
We're on the move.
I'm Sam, and this is the Illegitimate Scholar Podcast.
Me and my friend Mike, we did an interview right after we had just spent 9 hours all day out hiking 10 miles doing this bear hunt. We talked about the camaraderie and the community aspect of hunting. This is the type of thing that all guys should be doing.
I've been talking about going on a bear hunt for a long time, and now we've gone on a bear hunt.
We're here and we've gone.
I'm exhausted. You're probably exhausted as well, but we're going to talk about it. So this is Mike Strollo. I went on the bear hunt with him. I want to talk about community and then whatever you want to talk about.
Community, camaraderie, adventure, why people hunt. As I was talking about today, I think the strongest one and one that I identify with is adventure and camaraderie, right? So not every hunt is a group hunt by any means, but especially the one we did today where we have 11 guys.
Yeah.
It's totally a team effort.
Yeah.
And, you know, not only like you're in the woods with guys, but you're in the woods with most guys you trust. Usually once a year, we have a new guy. And that's what we like to do is we like to, you know, at least bring one person that's interested in, because we always get people that are interested. And out of 4 guys that say they're interested, 2 say they're actually coming and 1 actually shows up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was you this year.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you were our newbie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so getting someone with like a new perspective and someone who hasn't like experienced anything like this, I always really enjoy, because I like to see how you guys react to it. Today we had 3 non-hunters. Yeah, so you were one, and then Canes and Cardo, they also were non-shooters, and they've been coming for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And I'd say, yeah, maybe next time you're going to get a gun and get a license. And
They don't.
And they're like, well, you know, you guys don't shoot any bears, so we don't need to carry guns. No, they don't say that, but it's true.
That's the implication.
Yeah, we're on the constant struggle to get better, and one of these years we'll get a bear.
We did. There was a bear today.
Yeah, we came close. So last year, so this was our, I think we said 5th year doing this. We always run into sign. We always get into really great bear habitat, whether it be thick stuff that bears like to hide in or where there's good food sources. We always see bear scat. We always hunt in places where we have trail cameras and we see bears throughout the year.
You can't even see like 4 feet ahead of you.
A place like this, where there's like a clearing in like the middle of this, like would be a spot that I wouldn't be surprised to find bears. But we never end up shooting any. We never end up pushing out any. Last year was the first year that we actually saw a bear, and the guy that was there and saw it didn't have a shot on it, wasn't sure if it was a person or a bear coming through the thick stuff in front of him.
You probably want to be sure of that.
Exactly, absolutely. And then this year, towards the end of the hunt, you know, we were working through, and my cousin Chris, we were on the drive team. He sees a bear, gets up to shoot it, misses it, and it runs away. So we got a shot off. So that's an improvement.
In his defense, it was about 100-foot shot, like through thick brush. It was a tough shot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, he's not a super experienced hunter, you know, can shoot. He's using a scoped bolt-action rifle.
What kind of gun is it?
I don't know. Mike, it's a gun. It shoots. It's a Lender.
And I like to use, you know, a lever action with a red dot. I think that's like the preferred method of brush hunting when you're in, you know, thick brush.
Yeah.
So if someone says, hey, what should I get for a bear gun? I'm like, you can use anything you want, but I suggest getting a lever gun with a red dot on it.
That sounds good to me, especially in the freaking brush. I don't know why a scope would even really help you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're shooting distance, absolutely, a scope's going to be great. But, you know, if you're shooting anything under, you know, 70 yards, you may not be quick enough to get up and look through the optic, that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, people use both, and a lot of experienced bear hunters use both.
So these guys that come, well, I came, obviously I had my camera. These guys that, you know, they don't hunt, like, you know, why do you think they come then?
I think everyone's there for the same reason: adventure and camaraderie. All these guys, we live life and we have our hobbies, you know, whether it be something simple as, you know, going out and eating and going to the bar, or something like golf or something like that. Going out hunting supersedes all those. Going out with a group of guys and going out with like a clearly definable goal of killing an animal, there's something there that people, and in particular men, are really drawn to. We're drawn to being part of a group, but to be out in the woods, in the elements, It could be freezing or it could be, a nice day. But regardless of which, there's some sort of tribulation there. There's some challenge there. And like we were saying before, like there's some risk there. And
Stakes.
whether that be an actual like safety risk, there's some degree of that. But really the risk is you can succeed or you can fail. Regardless, we have a fun time. We don't necessarily fail, but you can go home empty-handed and certainly still be happy about the day afterwards. And there's the gain of success that we're driven for. Whether it be any aspect of life, people are driven to succeed. At least, the people that we aspire to be are driven to succeed. Hunting gives a very kind of clear path and a very understandable goal of like, this is something I can achieve at. I can go out, I can hunt an animal with my friends, I can potentially kill an animal with my friends, and I can bring home meat and good memories to my family.
It's very black and white, right? Between success and failure. Kill a deer or you
something or you don't.
Or
and
a bear in this case.
like I said, obviously, whether you kill something or you don't, like that's not the point. It's the goal. The point is to go out there and at least like do the action, do the mission, participate in the hunt, not necessarily participate in the kill. To give a very general overview of like how we hunt those bears, we're not necessarily just like sitting in tree stands all day. We're going out and we're doing group drives. So we're identifying areas that we select that we're going to drive out. So we'll have a team of pushers. We had 11 guys today, 4 shooters, 7 pushers. Pushers are going through that area and hopefully driving out that game towards those shooters at the end. So we did 10 miles today. We took a little break and ate lunch at a local inn there.
We did,
that
yeah.
we happened to stumble across. As we were like, all right, we're going to break for lunch. And then you guys told me like, yeah, there's a bar. And I'm like, I'm not going to a bar. Like, we brought the lunch,
I know.
There's a menu. We got to stick to the menu. We brought the food. We're all in the group food that we paid for. Threw down. I'm like, I'm kind of indifferent, but at the same time, I would like to just sit in the woods here and eat with my buddies.
Yeah.
But then, you guys were like, hey, we want to. And I was like, hey, I'm not going to be the guy that vetoes this. Let's go to the bar.
I brought up the idea and I physically got on your side and said, I'll vote whatever Strollo does. Because I was like, well, I brought up the idea, so I'm going to ruin his lunch in the freaking woods.
The bar was a nice addition.
After going to the bar, I was like, no, we definitely should have gone to the bar.
Yeah. So we go into this bar. You being from Connecticut, you're like, well, what are we going to do with our guns? So
Fantastic.
I'm like, guys, it's Pike County, Pennsylvania. I'm sure we can walk into the bar with guns on the opening day of bear season. Yeah. And of course, we were like, yeah, what do we do with our guns? She's like, yeah, do whatever with them.
Put them whatever.
Put them over there. Keep them with you at the bar. I don't care.
Which I think is a bad answer, by the way. They should have a designated spot. She's like, oh, I just put them by the fireplace.
Yeah, it would be cool if they were like, yeah, well, we have the gun rack right there. That would have been nice to see. But awesome bar. A lot of taxidermy in there, which I always like to see.
Including a bear. Black bear.
Yep. They had a bear. They had a couple deer. Yeah. So we stopped at lunch and we did our thing and then moved on to the next ones and got back to the car just at about dark.
Yeah.
Did a full day. Did dawn till dusk.
We really did.
Proper full day. Yeah. And we made a quick stop at the bear check station. So in Pennsylvania, you have to physically check all of the bears that get killed. So you bring it to a check station. They take a tooth sample. They age that for you. So they actually will send that to a lab and do a test on that tooth, get an actual age. A lot of people, not a lot of people, they can pay for that service throughout the country, right? But in Pennsylvania, the Game Commission does it for us. They record the sex of it. They record the weight of it. They'll take the weight of it gutted, and then they'll calculate the potential live weight that bear was. Yeah. They keep all that information and record it in its public knowledge. It's a great way to kind of check the progress of bear hunting throughout the years, populations. Western bear hunting and eastern bear hunting are two totally different things.
And there's also brown bears out there.
Yeah,
which is a whole different animal, literally.
Yeah, so I mean, you can only hunt them in Alaska. But they exist, grizzlies exist in a handful of western states. Wyoming, Idaho has a lot of them. Montana.
California.
No, California doesn't have any brown bears.
Really?
No, I mean,
isn't it on their flag?
It's on their flag. They got extinct probably 150 years ago there. No brown bears in California. Now, there are color phased black bears throughout the West and even a little bit in the East.
But that's a black bear still.
Yeah, so it's a black bear, and they'll either be brown, chocolate color, a blonde color.
Yeah.
There's even like
But a brown bear is 4 times the weight of a black bear and much more likely to kill you. Like hunting for a black bear would be way more dangerous if there's grizzlies around.
Yes, absolutely.
Or any brown bear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When you're hunting out west for bears, you should definitely carry either pistol, bear spray, or both, especially if you're in an area that you know there's brown bears.
I didn't feel in danger today, but if there were brown bears around, I would have been a lot more alert. I would have been a lot more.
Yeah, more of the danger that we face today would be stray bullets hitting you.
Much more likely than a bear to hurt us. Black bear's not going to hurt you. Probably.
Well, 1 or 2 people have been killed by black bears in the past couple of years in the United States.
Totally. I mean, but
mostly people being idiots.
According.
So you think you're going to get a gun and hunt with us next year?
No, I probably I might come back, but I probably won't bring a gun.
You're cool enough where you get the invite back.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, on the air, it's recorded. You
heard it here first.
Yeah.
He's part of the bear gang.
Hell yeah. See, people like me.
Yeah. What I said about bear hunting, it is the accumulation of so many things, right? Navigation, communication, outdoorsmanship, marksmanship, if you're lucky, and physical fitness. So all these like things that like guys in the outdoors love are all present in bear hunting, especially these driven hunts. So we're using radios. We're getting a line going, and when everyone's in position, we say, all right, we're ready to go. And we're hooting and hollering. We're doing radio checks to make sure that everyone is where they need to be.
And the hollering is a double purpose of both like letting people to your left and right know where you are and also scaring the bear.
Yeah, to some degree. It's certainly less of scaring the bear.
Right.
You could be like right on top of a bear and he's not going to move until you're pretty dang close, even if you're hooting and hollering.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah. That would have been cool, though, you know, to blast a bear at 10 yards in a rhododendron thicket.
Yeah, it would have been great.
So when we were going together through a push, we were going through a thick rhododendron patch. And we were crawling through stuff.
We were.
It's lucky if you can crawl through things, because that means the ground is bare and you could actually like move through, as opposed to some rhododendron thickets where like you have to climb over stuff and then it's just miserable.
Yeah.
So we were in pretty close range. If like we like bumped up on a bear, it would have been like right in our face. Yeah. Which would have been awesome.
It's a good thing you were up front, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only because I didn't have a gun.
Yeah, I kept that gun pointed forward and looking for bears.
Yeah.
In there, because that was a very berry zone.
Yeah. You were saying that, and I thought you were talking about berries.
Yeah.
But no, you were talking about bears.
Yeah.
Berry.
I would have liked to see some berries around, but it's too late in the season, right?
Right.
So like if you're in like an area where there's a lot of blueberries when it's hunting season and you get a bear that's been eating blueberries like that, then you'll have like a blueberry flavored bear. Not like completely like blueberry flavored meat, but there's a slight hint of it. And this is just me like hearing word of mouth.
Right.
I've never eaten a blueberry bear before.
Probably
I would love to. The fat of those bears like gets like a blue hue apparently.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, the fat of the bear is really valuable.
Really?
Yeah, it's you can render it into an oil, and it's just like this superb flavorless cooking oil that is like bakers like kill for it. Like it's really, really like great for baking. It's like Crisco but better.
Wow.
And then you could also use as like a hand balm. People make it into like a salve. My mom, I gave some to her one time, and she like has like joint problems and tries all sorts of different things. And she says the bear fat actually works.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not like, unfortunately, it's not something you could like commercially
You
produce.
actually kind of can. Laws in the United States with using animal parts is kind of weird. You can't buy game meat in America. Very illegal for good reason, basically, because then people would just go and just like poach animals
the incentive
and hunt them to
structure's
extinction
bad,
so they could sell meat. And that basically almost happened, 100 or so years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of species were pushed to near extinction. But you can sell hides and you can sell fat into these balms. But I mean, I've bought bear fat salves from this lady. I hope I wasn't breaking any laws, but but I know that hides you can sell. I think it's food. Basically, they just don't when they kind of draw the line at food, because food is something that you can always sell. Right? No one's gonna buy a deer hide But everyone is going to buy venison if they can.
I mean, I think people would buy a bear hide though.
Yeah, people would, but it's
Yeah.
also like, really expensive, and not everyone is going to go and buy a bear hide.
Right. And the people, it's not worth it for somebody to go out and kill a bear to sell the hide.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
too much work.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
What do people value? And like I was saying before, a lot of people, they go to the meat, right? They say the reason I want to hunt is meat. 5 or 6 people per year, they reach out to me and they say, I want to get into hunting. And I say, great. I'm here for you any way you need me. I can answer any questions. I always tell people the first step is taking Hunter's Ed. Here's the link to do it online. In Pennsylvania, it's online. Some other states have in-person requirements. But the first step is taking Hunter's Ed online. And I usually say, take Hunter's online, come back to me, and then we'll go through next steps. And then it's crickets.
Right.
Some of them do complete it, and we get them going. And they go out and buy a gun, and I take them hunting, and that's always good to see. I always like to ask people, why do you want to get into hunting? And a lot of it is meat. A lot of people say, I want to get meat for my family.
That surprises me.
I know, yeah, and I want to get clean, healthy meat. Some people bring up money into it, like I want all this meat for cheap, and I'm like, man, you're gonna spend a lot of money on hunting.
Yeah.
If you want cheap meat, go to the grocery store. Meat is one of the least exciting things about hunting to me.
I don't think they're telling. I'm not saying they're lying, but I feel like it's just like
it might be just like an easy way for them
answer.
to just kind of give an answer. You're right.
I think the real benefits or the more major benefits are so much more intangible.
Yeah,
that
right.
it's hard to put into words.
People can't really explain. I'm just looking for something to feed the adventure bug in my soul.
Because people have these. I don't. I have a great job. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. But no, I love what I do, but a lot of people have jobs that they hate and they're completely detached from being a human entirely.
Yeah.
And this whole thing, 11 dudes sun up to sundown in the woods trying to work together to kill a bear is exactly the type of stuff that is inherently human.
Absolutely.
And most people don't get to do that.
Yeah.
They don't get to do that at all. And it's
we're not really meant to
experience.
sit at desks and do the whole TV screen thing. Hey, we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
We got to work. We live in a society.
Yeah.
We live in the modern age where, people got to look at computer screens and we have to get money for our families. Humans were brought up hundreds of thousands of years ago. We left the jungles where it was easy to get fruit. It was easy to avoid predators. And we went into the open plains of Southern Africa and we pursued meat. And we didn't do it alone. We had to work as a team, and we had to communicate, and we had to move, and we had to struggle to get that meat. And that's what inherently made us human. It was part of the actual just eating the meat itself and getting the protein from that meat, but it was also the aspect of the hunt itself. So this is called the hunter hypothesis. And it's basically part of what made us human was the act of hunting as a group. The men had to get off of their fours and stand up to A, use weapons, and B, to carry meat back to the rest of the group. And on the opposite side, the women who were staying at home, caves or camps or whatever, they had to take care of their babies because the guys were off hunting. So they had to stand up and hold their babies. And this kind of led into, instead of, you see most animals, their young stays with them for a very brief amount of time compared to humans. That baby's with you for at least a decade before it's really independent enough to survive. So the fact that the men were off hunting, the women had to care for their children, they were able to care for their children longer. And that increased span of rearing made them smarter, helped develop brain growth more so, because babies didn't have to grow up fast and survive, just get dropped out of the womb and start walking right away.
Yeah, a zebra.
They could be nursed and they could be, eased into life, and that kind of developed brain growth. Yeah, so basically that's what's known as the hunting hypothesis, and that's essentially what made us human. So I think that when people get to experience that in the modern era, they're really experiencing wow, I've been living a mundane life, and this is the first kind of way that I actually feel something that's beyond just living. It's thriving. It's not just surviving. people love hunting for different reasons. But regardless of when you actually start, you feel that no matter what reason you got into it. And I mean, I see that with everyone here, whether they've been hunting for their whole lives to someone who just started hunting. This is Chris's, he only comes bear hunting. He's up in, occupied Massachusetts. But yeah, everyone here kind of feels that connection to kind of like what being human really is.
Right. Yeah. And I do. And I know everyone listening loves this type of stuff about being human. That's what the whole show's about.
Yeah. If you love being human, try out hunting. Yeah, you might feel something. Go hunting, folks. And hey, if you don't love it, that's fine too. Most people say, I want meat. But if someone says, I love the outdoors, I love doing things in the outdoors, and I've hiked my whole life, and now I want like something else, a next level of outdoor experience. And that's kind of my story. Then I'm like, okay, like you're going to actually love hunting. Because you can love eating venison all day long. You can love shooting guns all day long. But if you don't love sitting in the cold all day looking at the same tree, I got news for you. You're going to be pretty miserable hunting.
Deer hunting has like somewhat appealed to me, but the bear hunting as right.
You're not sitting you're not sitting in one spot. You're not looking at a tree all day. And I love whitetail hunting. I've sat in the tree all day, and I do multiple times every year. This is a very dynamic hunt.
Yeah.
And that's why, honestly, I kind of invite newcomers along. Yeah. Because people say, whoa, bear hunting, don't you think it's like a little extreme to jump into? I'm like, absolutely the opposite, man. Because you can just come along for the ride, and you're not going to get bored.
Yeah,
for sure.
Seriously.
And you're not going to get cold. Doesn't matter if it's 0 degrees out, because you're going to be moving.
Okay, well, I was cold. Let's be clear. I was cold.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I was mostly cold at the times
it was
when
like
we were
40 degrees out today.
It was like 36. Okay. It's only when I was standing, only when I was like with the guys that were just standing to shoot. But no, we like me and you through like a half mile of thicket. Yeah. Just crawling through it.
Man, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I can't wait to see the video.
It was awesome.
Like I'm like looking forward to your video like so much.
Yeah. And I've already got in my head like as we've been talking, I'm like in my head knowing what B-roll that I got. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have the episode. I'm going to have to tell people. It's going to be sweet. You got to watch it as well. Absolutely. This is audio.
And I filmed so many of my adventures. They never make it to Final Cut.
Yeah. Talk about your BHA thing.
There's plenty of great outdoor organizations out there. And just being a hunter alone and putting your dollars towards a hunting license helps out a lot. I mean, that's why we have the greatest wildlife and public lands in the world. Yeah, America for the win. A lot of outdoor organizations out there to support. BHA, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, is one that I'm particularly involved in. And it's a public land advocacy group. So most of my hunts, I'd say maybe like 60-40 are on public land. And whether you're a hunter or not, you benefit off of public land. So BHA's goal is to protect public land and to protect access to public land in the courtroom, in the law houses, both on federal levels and state levels. When there's legislation involved that threatens our rights to hunt and fish on public lands, they're ringing the alarm. We do cleanups throughout Pennsylvania, I know, and a lot of other states have great programs as well. And other like access programs, getting people into hunting programs, a lot of different stuff. And it's just an all around good time, especially if you're in Pennsylvania. Check out our Pennsylvania chapter of BHA, but there's chapters in all 50 states minus Delaware. Delaware's got to get on putting a chapter together.
Blame that on Joe Biden.
Yeah, come on, Joe. I don't think Joe hunts.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think he hunts. No, I shouldn't say what I think he hunts.
Certainly look into BHA. We have a good time. It's a great organization. We do a lot of great work.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's time to eat, drink, and be merry.
Yeah, so we're gonna go do more of that community type stuff we were talking about, and we're gonna go hang out with the boys.